And welcome. How's it going, everyone? I know I'm going ahead and doing Trails in the Sky, but this just came out, and I fucking love this game. Why am I getting issues with YouTube? Okay, 1 second. Let me check one thing. There we go. We're just good. That's fine. We're gonna listen to this awesome music while I make sure everything's set up before we begin. Been waiting for this to come out for so freaking long because not only do we get the Ace Attorney investigations, we also get the sequel that we never got. So I'm very interested in jumping into that one. But it's been years since I played this one, the first game, so we're gonna go ahead and give ourselves a refresher on everything. So let's go ahead and hit new game. Choice between the old pixel art or the new HD graphics. Pixel art looks nice, but I think I'll stick with the HD graphics for now. Turnabout Visitor. Start from episode? Yes. March 14th. 1:16 a.m. To make sure the defendant is found guilty, what other choice do I have? That's the job of a prosecutor, after all. That may be true, but why? Why go this far? Sorry, maybe I wasn't clear enough. But a guilty verdict is all that matters to me. No matter what the cost. I am a prodigy amongst prosecutors. Always have been, always will be. March 14th, 2:05 a.m. Prosecutor building, 12th floor hallway. And as in usual Ace Attorney fashion, we kind of get a flashback. Tells us who the actual culprit is. At least for the first case. It won't be so easy going forward. It's hard to believe I've been away from my office for a whole month. Help Detective Gunship has been keeping an eye on my office. Keeping it clean. Door is unlocked. Detective Gumshoe? What's the smell? It's very familiar. Blood? What the? Actually, I like how expressive the HD models are. What's the meaning of this? Freeze. Identify yourself. Shut up. Got some nerve committing murder in a prosecutor's office. Is that a threat? Well, let me make one thing very clear. What? No one gets away with committing murder in my office. No one. My name is Miles Edgeworth, and I work as a prosecutor in my local district. Little did I know that upon my return home after a month abroad, I'd be thrusted into a multitude of cases, some very frantic and busy days. March 14th, 2:56 a.m., High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. I finished photographing the victim's body, sir. Very well. Please continue investigation. Yes, sir. And there he is. Hey, Dick Gumshoe. Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Are you okay, sir? Keep it down, detective. It's a crime scene. When I heard that a murder had taken place in your office, I ran up here straight away. This is Dick Gumshoe. He's a detective with the local precinct. And the one they assigned to handle this murder case for the time being. You're looking a little pale, sir. Are you hurt? No, I'm perfectly fine. However... look what they did to your office! It's totally trashed! I'll say, the culprits sullied my floor with dirt rather well. No one gets away with tracking mud into my office. Whoa! Sounds like you're getting really burned up over this whole thing. This crime was committed in my office, so it's my responsibility to solve it. Oh, that's just like you, Mr. Edgeworth. Okay, time to do some investigating. Read. Our first course of action is to gather relevant facts and leads. We must not overlook anything, no matter how small, if we are to find the truth. So I'll keep any leads or information we find etched in my forefront of my mind. Speaking of things that piqued my curiosity, why of all places did the murder occur in my office? Crime scene in my office? Was it really coincidence the murder took place in my office? With a nagging feeling that this is something important to keep in mind. Yeah, I was wondering that myself, sir. I mean, you can't really say it's just a coincidence, can you? No, not really. Especially because of this. The key to your office? For security reasons, this office door has a lock built into it. I mean, I don't know how that's unique. Every door I know of has always had locked. What do you mean, sir? If you think about it carefully and use logic, it should become clear to you. Logic? By finding the connection between two pieces of information and connecting them, new information is born. That is the end result of using logic. What kind of stupid Gumshoe is? He's supposed to be a detective. So how do you use it? First, I'll recall the information we've gathered with Q, and then I connect them together with T. Now, to use Q and recall the facts. Okay. For security reason, this office door has a lock built into it. Then we connect them. For security reasons, all prosecutors' office doors are outfitted with locks, which means it would have been hard for the murderer and the victim to get in here. Ergo, it is impossible to dismiss the location of this crime as mere coincidence. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, sir! Must be a reason why someone had infiltrated my room. What was the killer after? You're really on the ball today, Mr. Edgeworth. That's some beautiful logic, sir. Yes, well, when you follow leads to the conclusion, only the truth remains. However, if the information doesn't line up properly, it may stray far from the truth as well. If I think carefully before piecing leads together, the logic should flow. Well then, let's get started with our investigation, shall we? Yes, sir! The basis of any good investigation is to examine everything, sir. I know that, and when I want to examine something, I simply use space when I'm next to it. If you ever feel lost and want to talk, just use T, okay? I'll give you a great, precise advice as an ace investigator, sir. I'm gonna try later if I have free time, I suppose. Okay, so first things first. Oh, so you even knocked over your chess set. Had it all set up, ready for you when you got back. Figured we could play a few games. Had no idea you were interested in chess. I'm actually pretty good at checkers, so I thought I'd give chess a try. In that case, I suppose I could set some time aside after we solve this case. Though I don't expect the games to tax my mental acuity much. Okay, so how do I save? That's gonna be the important thing here. This looks like so much better than it does on a DS, which is not surprising, but still. How do I... Okay, there we go, save. We're gonna go ahead and drop a quick save here. Okay, so let's take a look around. We have a gun here on the side. How do I do it again? Space, right? I gotta learn the controls of this. What have we here? It has to be the murder weapon? So, it means that the killer made their escape, disposing of their gun here. I think I've seen one of these before. Care to enlighten me as to where? Oh, I know! I was issued the exact same model. I think. Detective. I don't really like guns all that much. I mean, they're really dangerous. Now I think about it, you do see this model around the precinct a lot, sir. But I don't use mine much except in emergencies, so that's why I didn't recognize it. It's the same type of revolver as the ones used by this precinct's detectives. Okay. It is also a little weird. This is Miles Edgeworth's office, so technically he should not be investigating this, but whatever. I guess it would be a game if he couldn't be involved. Do you have anything to report? Sir, yes, sir. Nothing out of the ordinary right now, sir. And yet, there's something out of the ordinary right in front of my eyes. Talk about a contradiction. Something out of the ordinary, huh? Should go look around a bit more. We could solve this case quickly. I'd like to return to relaxing on this sofa. Oh, I thought I was actually looking at the picture. Everything looks like a billion times softer than my mattress at home. Can I sit on it too? Just a little while, sir? Detective Gumshoe, you know I can't allow that. Until this case is solved, neither of us have time to spare, let alone rest. You're right, sir. I'm gonna work hard and be a real trooper to the end. And once this case is over, I don't think we can afford to take any time off. You called, sir? You know what? Here. President, my prosecutor's badge. Your prosecutor's badge is really tiny compared to my police badge. Oh, but, it's really cool, sir. Much, much cooler than my badge could ever be. No need to suck it to me, detective. Okay. So let's see. We're gonna talk to this guy. How's it coming along? Please, I need to absolutely silence, sir. Fingerprint lifting is a delicate art. Well, I never. I finished photographing the body, so it should be alright to examine this area. Won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. First thing, let's check here. We have here. Hey, I think I've seen one of these before. It's a police badge, detective. Oh hey, I have the exact same thing actually. What a coinkydink! Let's take a look inside. Sir Buddy Faith. It would appear that our victim was a detective, just like you. Seem to have gathered a few pieces of pertinent information. Now to calmly use logic and figure out if there's any of them are connected to each other. Okay, we'll do that later. For right now, let's see here. There's blood all over his lower abdominal area. It's like the bullet passed clean through his stomach area, sir. In other words, he was shot. Yep, and until the autopsy's done, I don't think we'll get much more than that. Please have the body sent to the morgue once they've done processing the crime scene. The bullet went clean to the victim's abdomen. The body was found around 2:05 a.m. You're gonna be okay with keeping track of the evidence we find, sir? Of course. It's the safest way I know to keep track of it all. Alright, if you say so. I keep all the evidence I find either in or with my organizer. When I want to re-examine a piece, I have but to press E to open my organizer. But the organizer isn't only for evidence. I keep people's profiles on hand on it too. Probably a good idea to make a habit of checking the facts often. Okay, and we also have a little bit of a message behind him, so let's take a look at that. I don't believe it! I packed those files on the shelves so tight! Not even an earthquake can make them fall off. Just look at them! At this rate, the rest of the files won't be able to withstand an earthquake at all. A problem, to be sure. Well, once the investigation is over, we'll put them back on the shelf. But there's clearly letters on the books. Don't you think you should make a note of that? Your files all over the floor, sir. Probably fell during the struggle between the victim and his killer. Oh, I tried so hard to keep this place spotless while you were away. I mean, this just rendered all the time and effort I put in pointless. I don't recall ever asking you to clean my room. Well, I watered the flowers every day just like you requested, sir. I just added the cleaning to the list as a weekend special. For about half a day every Saturday, I'd come in and clean this place until it sparkled. Does he even have a life? Okay, so I think that's all the information I can get for now. There's a couple more things we gotta get later, but for now... Okay. So, gonna go back. We got a piece of couple... Actually, there's something broken over here too, right? There's clearly... There we go. Ah! Watch out for the teacup fragments there, sir. Killer's gonna pay. This tea set. Yikes! You're really mad over this. Tea set is very dear to my heart. It can only be bought in England. It costs more than your whole month's paycheck. What? I feel like the killer's wasted one of my monthly paychecks. Was there anything else? I think you could check a couple more things back here, but I don't think it really helps us out for the investigation. So let's see if we can piece some things together. We have the detective was a victim, and then a revolver because it was a detective's, right? So that should connect. The revolver, the standard model used by detectives. Could it have belonged to our recently departed? Detective Gunchu, could you please thoroughly check the victim's body one more time? Yes, sir. On it now, sir. Excuse me, pal. Let's see. What have we got here? Mr. Edgeworth, sir. This guy's wearing a gun holster. It appears our killer somehow managed to take the victim's gun from him. Let's see what else we can find out about this revolver. As I always say, you gotta look really careful at each piece of evidence. And use the arrows to rotate your object. There's no such thing as a bad angle. Use Q and E to zoom in and get and out to get at the nitty gritty. Okay. It looks like one round was fired from this. Wow, so the killer killed the Vic with just one shot after wresting the gun from him? The guy knew how to handle a gun, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? We have no proof of that now, but there's a distinct possibility. This is about all we're gonna find out. Send the body to Jim! Why, oh why? How could this have happened to a guy like you? Are you alright? Don't touch me! Leave me alone! Just let me be! Sorry, but I can't do that. The investigation is still ongoing, so please refrain from touching the body. The body? The body? Don't talk like he was some kind of, like he's just some lump of flesh. Look at him. Jim looks like he's just turned in for the night. Sure. Just in blood-stained suit, pal. And obviously this is our culprit, but obviously it's not gonna be that simple. We gotta actually prove that he's the one who did it. Turn on my manners. Aren't you the prosecutor? Why, yes, I am. I'm Jacques Sportsman. Fuck that, I hate their puns. Prosecutor. Jim here was my partner in crime, busting. Miles Edgeworth. Like you, I am also a prosecutor. Detective Dick Gumshoe, sir. So you're Miles Edgeworth. This is your office. Yes, that is correct. Then it was you! You're the one who killed Jim! Hey, don't go around jumping to conclusions, pal. Just calm down, okay? I will not. I know how things work around here. My prosecutor's office doors all have locks built into them. Only the owner of the office has a key to his or her own office. That is correct. Or I was not the one who killed your partner. Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth has been overseas on business trip this whole time, pal. And the key to the door was with me the entire time, okay? So the only one who could get in here was me. Wait, that means... I'm not sure what that means. So it was you then. You're Jim's killer. No way, pal. You got it all wrong. Everyone calm down. Mr. Sportsman, correct? If you are a real prosecutor, you should know how to stay collected. The investigation has only just begun. Isn't it too early to be drawing conclusions? Alright, I get the point. You're right, my mistake. I tend to get a little too hot-headed sometimes. You are sure one cool customer though, Mr. Edgeworth. Heard all about the rumors about you. You're the great genius prosecutor. Something of a legend, you know? Anyway, let's call a truce and work together, okay? Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal? A pleasure to work with you. I'm sure it is. You guys were conducting your investigation, right? Sorry for barging in like that. Carry on then. It's your room after all. Thank you. I intend to. I just want a little more time to say goodbye to Jim. You there! Sir! I want you to capture these scenes on film for me. My final farewell to my partner, Jim. Probably give him some space. Well, now that this guy is gone on this side of the room, maybe we can check the painting out. Your jacket, sir! What is it doing on the floor? It's fallen off the wall when the killer tried to threaten me by firing a round. So the killer not only shot the victim, they shot your jacket as well? They dared to shoot the ultra-special jacket that you made your prosecutor debut in? They shot through it! Would have been a disaster. Not worth getting worked up over, Detective. Not when there's something more here. Huh? Like what? I think you haven't noticed it yet, Detective. There's a giant contradiction right here in front of us. Really? Did I say contradiction? He must be rubbing off on me. It's starting to sound like him. I wonder who he could be talking about. I have my own methods, and I will conduct this investigation my way. And the scene before me contradicts a piece of evidence, or seems off. That's when my deductive skills come into play. First, I have to find the spot that holds the contradiction. Well, it's right here. This is it. The bullet hole where the contradiction lies. When I spotted something that's off, I should point my cursor at it and press T with the conviction. And when I have found sufficient proof to prove the contradiction, I present it. It's how I do things. Okay. We know the gun was only fired once, and yet there's 2 bullet holes, right? Bullet holes the contradiction. What? What do you mean, sir? It's elementary. 2 shots were fired in this room. The first felled the victim. And the second felled this frame. Hey, that's right. However, this gun was only fired once. Hey, that's true too. Which means that one of these 2 bullets was fired from a different gun. Did the killer have another gun prepared for tonight? But then the victim's gun that I found, could there be another gun in play here? By the way, I noticed something, sir. Yes? What's that thing sticking out from behind the frame? Ah, that. It's a secret safe. A secret safe? Oh, I smell money. I'll spare the trouble and just say it. Something like what you're imagining is inside. Now, if you could kindly move this frame out of the way. Roger that. Talk about dusty. I suppose that's what happens when I'm not here to dust it once in a while. I had no idea there was a safe here. I've kept it clean for you, sir. So, when did you put this thing in? It wasn't something I had installed personally. Every prosecutor's office has one. Really? I had no idea. Only prosecutors are supposed to have knowledge of their existence. So, what's inside, Mr. Edgeworth? Right now? Nothing. Only use them to store especially important evidence when the trial's in session. That's it? Talking about squashing my hopes and dreams. Okay. Each prosecutor has one in their office, only they know of them. Trial evidence used. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking... Well, obviously, if the whole thing is dusty, it kind of looks like it's been wiped, though. This is odd. Found something, sir? It's keypad. Did you find it to be a bit too clean? Yeah, there's a thick layer of dust all around it, but not on the keypad itself. You there, the forensic scientist. Yes, sir? Could you please dust this area for fingerprints? You got it, sir. Didn't find, let alone lift a single print. Looks like it was wiped down well. Thought. It appears that logic is the only way around this setback. Time to rationally and calmly play the connected dots with the information we have. Okay. Because there is a chance to fail this, we're going to go ahead and grab a quick save. But we're still in the beginning, so it shouldn't be too hard to figure this out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and piece some of this together. We know the killer's goal... Wait, no. Wait, that's the wrong one. No, we can do this. The killer's goal was the safe. I believe I figured out what the murderer was after. What is it, sir? The fact that the safe was wiped clean of fingerprints suggests criminal had at least attempted to open my safe. The culprit's motive for breaking and entering theft, I believe. I wonder if knowing the motive behind his break-in was death changes what other pieces of information can tell us about the crime. If we know the motive was theft, and there were signs of a struggle, that could mean that whoever caught the person in the act, I mean, they fought with whoever caught the person in the act, right? There's a possibility that the files splayed on the floor are not the result of a struggle between the victim and his killer. You mean like it could be from when the killer tried to find something, sir? Or that. Precisely, we need to figure out all the files have been stolen. Yes, sir. I'm gonna shelf files like you've never seen before, even at a library. Sure. Let's give that a try. Why do all the good ones die young? Surely you must ponder that every once in a while, Mr. Edgeworth. No matter how much we lament, the dead will not come back to life. All we can do is search for the truth. And so what are we supposed to do? We go about finding the truth. First, we calmly restore the files to the rightful place. You got it. Here, let me help. So this file goes here, and that book goes there. You sure know a lot about where things go, despite it being Mr. Edgeworth's office. Because I'm the one who keeps it tidy, pal, okay? Done. It would appear that the murder was definitely committed here. The bloodstains on the floor, on the bookshelves themselves are still fresh. I suspect that the victim was killed in a standing position, hence the prints on the shelf. And the guy fell onto the floor, right? The blood on the floor is kind of grossing me out. Detective, I don't have the time to deal with your weak stomach right now. You know I'm no good with blood, sir. Certainly there's something wrong with this picture. If he was standing, why is the bullet hole down here at the bottom? So where the bullet lodged itself that went through the victim's, huh? For the bullet to be lodged so squarely in a file spine indicates that the files were ransacked after the shooting had occurred. And I guess the victim was moved because he was in the killer's way? The victim's handprints. He must have tried to support himself with hands here after being shot. There are prints on the floor, too. Must have been made when unable to stay standing, he dropped to the floor. We're just gonna ignore the message on the books in the back here, though? Okay. I put them all back just as they should be, sir. It doesn't look like anything's missing. Now, it does look like the killer moved the body to flip through my shelves. I wonder if they found what they were looking for. Let's see. What else? It appears that the victim was in a sitting position here after being shot. Oh, so that's why the seat of the victim's pants has blood on it. That would be the logical conclusion. Okay. Killer moved the body because it was leaning against the bookshelf. The blood on the guy's pants proved that it was pretty well. In a sense, I suppose. See? I'm not completely useless, Mr. Edgeworth. I don't know about that one, but... there's gotta be something else. Because it can't be... Wait. No, it's this one. Yeah, because it went through his abdomen. There's no reason why the bullet should be that low. There's clearly a contradiction here with this bullet hole. What do you mean, sir? You don't see? Quite simply, the bullet hole itself is too low. The victim was shot in the stomach. The hole should be higher up. But what if the guy was shot while he was sitting or laying down, sir? That'd be illogical. The victim leaned against the shelf here after being shot, which suggested that he was standing when he was shot. And that means... Wait. What does that mean, sir? It means you need to use your brain every once in a while instead of mine, detective. In any case, it means someone made a faulty assumption. It was from this mistake that our current contradiction was born. What is the faulty assumption that caused this problem with the bullet hole's position? The faulty one is the order of the files, because these should not be that low. I believe the order of the files is a bit off. You mean I put them back in the wrong order just now? Hey, actually, I think the labels on the files are wrong, sir. Oh? Yeah, you see how the files that were shot begin with the number O? What are those doing all the way down there after 1, 2, and 3? That's really weird. Actually, the way they are organized now is the correct order. They are exactly as I see them in my mind's eye. But the numbers are all out of order. Those white binders are special, so they are organized a little differently. From this, you know, the files were not in this order when the crime occurred. Aha, so that's it. I believe the killer made the same incorrect assumption you just did, Detective. Let's rearrange the files in numerical order and see what we find out. You think it's okay to prop the body back up like it was before it was moved? They finished processing the crime scene, so I don't see why it wouldn't be. If you're pleased, Detective Gumshoe. As I suspected, the bullet hole is now where it should logically be. The killer went through my files first before shooting Mr. Faith. And put the files back in numerical order, I guess. Exactly, and then proceeded to shoot the victim. Why would someone kill a man and then look through the files one more time? Puzzling indeed. The files were thrown in disarray twice, once before and once after the crime. Why? The crime scene is exactly as it was at the time of the murder. Time to give it another look. This... What is this? Why does it say Gumshoe on there in blood? They say that's some incredibly incriminating evidence. Yes, indicative of criminal activity indeed. No, wait! There's gotta be some more mistake! Sir Edgeworth, sir! Help me! Say something, sir! It appears that one of my files was stolen. Is that all, sir? What about me and my situation? Is this what the killer was really after? One of the files was written in blood was stolen by the culprit. And that's the first part of our investigation done. Looks like Jim was able to leave us the name of the killer in the end. This most important message managed to reach us. I'm telling you, it wasn't me! I'd be terribly pleased to hear that your beloved partner is the guilty party. If you're going to accuse Detective Gumshoe of being the culprit, I sincerely hope you have some proof to back it up. Jim's words are more than enough, wouldn't you say? That's how you want to play it. And at least allow me to understand your reasoning. You got it. Okay, so now we're going to play the second part of this game. Much like in the trials of Ace Attorney, they're going to like give their own, not confession, but they're basically going to give their logic, and we have to poke holes through it. I don't like this one bit. There's something strange about this man's attitude. There must be some sort of flaw in his logic waiting for me to dig out. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you going to do? What I always do in court. I'm going to cross-examine him. One way or another, I'll expose the flaws in his logic with this technique. Oh, how do you do that? Can you explain it to me, sir? I might as well. First, I'll listen to the witness's testimony. If I find a flaw in the testimony, something that contradicts the evidence, I'll open my organizer with E and present that piece of contradictory evidence. To present something, I simply use T. That's old news. But it's not like there's going to be a flaw in their testimony every time, right? Correct. At those times, I need to press the witness with Q. Sometimes by pressing, I can draw out new information and new or modified testimony. I think I get it, sir. Be sure to try this technique out during investigations too. Very well. I'll even show you how it's done. Now watch carefully. This reports me the logic. Detective Gumshoe, you stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead. Furthermore, you messed up the files to make it look like you had committed theft instead. That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. Thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. And it will be his final words that you will be brought to justice. You intend to argue the victim's dying message pointed to his killer. You hear Jim's voice, and he's calling for his killer's arrest. You're not sure you're mishearing his words, Mr. Portsman. There's no way Detective Gumshoe is the culprit here. We'll find a flaw in his man's logic. expose it with credible evidence. Okay, before I do anything else, I'm gonna drop a quick. Probably saving a little too much, but it's what I like to do. Okay, so there's two problems here. I'm not sure which is the thing. Detective Gumshoe, you stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead, right? The main problem is Detective Gumshoe should have his own gun because he's a detective in the first place. But we have nothing that really contradicts this because this is Jim's gun. That's kind of the problem here. Like, if it was Gumshoe, he'd have his own gun to shoot him with. He wouldn't have to steal the victim's revolver. But I guess we can't use that particular one. Further, you messed with the files to make it look like you committed the theft instead. That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. But thankfully you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. Okay, I believe this is the one that's contradictory, because we can use this to say that if that was the case, then why was one of, like... How could he have not noticed the bloody letters if one of the files was missing?
Objection!
He would have noticed it when he took it. Perhaps you're not aware, Mr. Portsman, but there's a serious flaw in your logic. Bring a bit of courtroom into this, I see. No problem. I'm game. Can't help but find it odd. Excuse me? Odd that a fellow prosecutor would have been brought down by the power of his own office. What are you talking about? Oh, you're joking. I get it. If you have the time to laugh, then you have time to take another closer look at this. Do you still not see? If not, may I direct your attention to the missing file? What? That's impossible! What's impossible, Mr. Portsman? Nothing. The files on the shelf are all about a certain case. When the killer went to take the file after murdering your partner, I highly doubt they could have missed the bloody letters written on the spines.
Objection!
It's possible they could have taken the file before committing the murder. Yeah, that'd be flawed as well, because then how did the Gumshoe's name get written on the file? I think it's pretty obvious that the file was stolen after it was written on. The missing letters in the detective's name where the file should be as proof. Yeah! I mean, the S is gone and there's only half an H. Detective Gumshoe really was the culprit of this craze. I highly doubt that even he could have overlooked his own name written in blood on the files. Especially as a detective who can't stand the sight of blood. Which means... what exactly? What does that make this dying message? It makes it the work of criminal intent of tampering with the crime scene. That's so low. I can't believe the criminal tried to pin the whole thing on me, sir. I'm gonna get him, sir. You'll see. I'm gonna have them under arrest in no time. Well, Mr. Portsman? Brilliant. Absolutely splendid. Logic deserving of Olympic gold. Appreciate the praise, but it's changed the fact that your reasoning is flawed. Meh, you win some, you lose some. That's how life goes. Glad everyone's so cheery, even though I feel more dead than alive. But you know, it really is a shame. Really didn't want to have to bring this up, however. What is it this time? You still after me, pal? Hear me for a second. Who has the key to this office? That would be me. Mr. Edgeworth just proved that I'm innocent, pal. That's absolutely right, and I acknowledge your innocence. Why do I sense you still have something to say? Well, I was thinking. You know there is one other person with the key to this office? Person? Hey, you there. Yes, sir. What is it, sir? Would you kindly fetch and escort that lovely young lady over here for me? A lady. The girl is a member of this building's security. Think of her as a material witness. Security? Did you say security? No, stop it, pal. Don't! What's wrong with him all of a sudden? I believe she needs no introduction. I have called upon Miss Maggie Bird, a member of the security. Detective Gumshoe, sir? Maggie. Mrs. Bird is a security guard on watch tonight. See, and your point is... My point is that she could very well have used it. And by it, I mean the master key, which can open the office doors in this building. What? You're not the guilty party, Detective Gumshoe. And the only other person with access to this room is Miss Bird. How dare you? I would never sneak into somebody's room. That's right. I refuse to believe that Maggie's the culprit, pal. It was me. That's right. I did it. Okay, so a little bit of lore here. Maggie Bird is actually a character from another part of the series who was actually working under Detective Gumshoe. That's why he's kind of so protective of her. I haven't played those games on this channel, but maybe I should one day, because they're good games too. Can we take that as a confession, Detective? Well, it wasn't really me, but it definitely wasn't Maggie, pal. So yeah, it was me. It was. You had no problems with that, right? Please refrain from flying off the handle, Detective. There's no need for such theatrics. Listen to your boss, Detective. He understands what I'm saying here. That girl is the only one who could have committed the crime. And for one simple reason. It's pretty obvious that Miss Bird snuck into your room using the master key. I mean, if Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door, then that leaves only Miss Bird as our prime suspect. On top of that, she knows our good detective, doesn't she? Make it all the more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message. So you're saying she used the master key to open every office door it is used and controlled by security staff? Incredibly incriminating evidence, wouldn't you say? That's what you claimed about the evidence earlier as well. That was then, this is now. The flow of a good match always changes during a rally. All about your reflexes, reaction time, especially for an athlete like me. I wonder if there was anyone else other than Miss Bird who could have used the master key. It seems that the only way to get Mr. Portsman to give me more details is to press him. Okay, but we don't need to press him. But I guess we have to for the game's sake. The reason why it can't be Maggie Bird is because obviously they went through our safe, which she doesn't know about because it's only known to Miles Edgeworth. Well, pretty obvious that Miss Bird snuck into your room using the master key.
Hold it!
Are you sure Miss Bird is the only member of security who could have used the master key? There's only one person on the staff at this time of night. She's it. Isn't that right, Miss Bird? That's, true, but... I wasn't able to use the master key at the time of the crime, sir. Wasn't able to? What's that supposed to mean? Yes, moving on. Had to get sidetracked by something unrelated. What do you mean, unrelated? I want to hear what she has to say, pal. You can't really trust her more not to tell lies. Plus, I hate wasting time. Should I hear Miss Bird out? Yes. Not so fast. I, too, am interested in hearing what Miss Bird has to say. Can I just say it'd be a waste of time? We don't need to hear her lies. I'll be the judge of that. Miss Bird, if you please. I discovered that the master key was missing at around 1 AM, sir. What do you mean, missing? As in, it wasn't anywhere near the security booth, sir. The killer must have stole it. Miss Portsman, I believe this would be an important piece of testimony, don't you? I can't believe that someone like you would be taken in by such words. I'm not lying, sir.
Objection!
If that's the case, then I'd like to know, why did you have the master key to now? I don't quite know. It just reappeared all of a sudden, sir. Likely story. And where's the proof that the key was stolen to begin with? But you just forgot you put it where you put it and then found it again. I never lose things. I practically guarantee that. With me, if something disappears, it's usually because someone stole it. Yeah, pal. Trust me. You don't want to test just how bad her luck is. Fortunately, I can't deem this piece of testimony as conclusive. But you agree, Mr. Edgeworth? But... You still haven't established Maggie's motive for breaking into Mr. Edgeworth's office. Motive? Can we already establish it was theft? I mean, the culprit clearly went through the bookshelves and at least tried the safe. It is as Mr. Portsman say, Detective. Can't ignore the facts that all the evidence points towards a motive of theft. But I'm done taking blows. It's time to counterattack with a few facts of my own. Our intent? From the mess of shelves to the wiped down safe, I'd say thievery. Okay, this is where we can present it.
Objection!
You wish to continue insisting that Miss Bird was set on stealing something. Why not? It's the truth, after all. It's also by your logic that we came to the whole thievery conclusion anyway. Maybe. You must also be aware of the fact that the safe is a secret safe. The existence of which is only privy to prosecutors. I find it a little hard to believe that a hidden safe was part of her cunning plan. But she could have found it by accident while she was turning everything else upside down. I highly doubt that. I say the culprit knew exactly what they were looking for. After all, only the bookshelf and the safe were targeted. Yeah, even I didn't know about the safe, pal. And that means there's no way Maggie could have known about it either. Then are you proposing that the killer is a prosecutor? Interesting conclusion. It's looking more and more probable. What's wrong, prosecutor? You have a different suspect in mind now? Curses! Why? What made you... Such an angry face all of a sudden. It's all my fault! You mean? It's Jim. He knew about the existence of the secret safes. What did you just say? We were partners, like inseparable conjoined twins. That's why I told him. I filled him in on the secret safes. Then that means... Yeah, I know. I'd only just told him too. Obviously it was wrong of me to tell him. Still can't quite believe it. The thief who broke into your room was probably Jim. Now he's claiming the victim was the thief. And you were simply trying to stop him, weren't you? Miss Maggie Bird. Excuse me? I mean, you are a security guard, right? That's your job. But killing is going a bit too far, even if you're a risky profession. What the? You're still accusing Maggie of the murder? Yes and no. I mean, she had stumbled upon Jim, who had probably drawn his gun. I get it. It was self-defense, wasn't it? No, I couldn't. I could never do something like that. Not even as a security guard, sir. Plus, even if she was the thief, he wouldn't even have a key to this office. It's precisely where he had to steal it, wouldn't you say? It was Jim who stole the master key. Pretty impossible for a supposedly stolen key to be here with us unless... Well, unless you retrieved it from Jim after you killed him. Mr. Portsman, are you honestly accusing your own partner of being a thief? I don't want to admit it, but it's the only way for everything to make sense. Has he no honor? Now then, I think we're done here. Investigation waits for no man. Would you be so kind to see yourselves out? Can't kick us out. This is Mr. Edgeworth's office. I'm the one who's been assigned to this case. You're all suspects to varying degrees, and therefore ineligible to run this show. Listen, pal, how many times do I have to say this? Maggie can't be the culprit. Detective Gumshoe, calm yourself. Sir! You have no choice but to accommodate his request. For now. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. At least one of you understands. Now then, if you could remove yourselves from my crime scene, I'd be most grateful. Mark my words, Mr. Portsman. We will meet again. That's a formal request from the legendary prosecutor himself. Suppose so. Now don't disappoint me, you hear? And we're already at the halfway point of this case. Okay. Not too complicated, but then again, in first cases usually never are. 14th, 4:18 a.m. Prosecutor building, 12th floor. What is with that prosecutor? I can't believe how rude he was. Unbelievable. Please maintain your professionalism, detective. I'm gonna find some real solid evidence proving Maggie's innocence. You'll see, sir. Been kicked out of the crime scene, sir. True. So then what now? My life's fallen into yet another gigantic ditch. Don't despair, Miss Bird. You can overcome this as well. There are many other places and things we should be looking into anyway. Really, sir? For example, this hallway. The linchpin of his arguments against Miss Bird is related to the master key. In that case, this hallway is the perfect place to look for more information regarding the mystery surrounding my door. Okay, so first, I won't rest until I inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Let's check the lock. See any signs of forced entry. According to the guard, no signs the door was picked either, sir. Yet the door really was opened with the key. Happen to ask if any prints were lifted from the doorknob? Apparently the doorknob's clean as a whistle. Why, they think. Whoever this thief is, they did a good job of not leaving any clues behind. 1202. These 4 numbers on the number plate alone proclaim to be in my office. Whoops! Hey! These numbers plates slide right off, sir. You have to be able to take the plate off when the room becomes vacant, you know. Although, that it can be so easily removed is kind of... Okay, let's keep that in mind. There's something underneath the seat here, so take a look at that. Won't rest until I inspect every position. Ready? Isn't it the missing 0 series file, sir? Doubt about it. The bloody letter's marked it clear as day. Seems to be a few pages missing. He only took what was necessary and left the rest behind. So what are these old files about, sir? Guess they've got something worth stealing in them, huh? Not particularly. Just a collection of court case files. However, the cases within these files are not mine. Huh? They belong to a high prosecutor that used to occupy my current office. And my reasons, let's just say I was charged with keeping them as they were. That means the thief must have also wanted the file for this specific reason, right? It seems so. What other pages related to that case from 10 years ago are missing? I wonder why anyone would care about such an old case. Okay, let's take a quick look around. What's basketball doing here? It's Mr. Portsman's prized possession, sir. He also plays soccer, dodgeball, and even tennis. A single one of these sports is suitable to be played in a hallway. This office. 1203. 1203. Maggie, whose room is this again? It's Mr. Portsman's, sir. My new neighbor, I see. Suppose he moved in while I was away overseas. What's this basketball hoop doing here? Hey, didn't this used to be just outside next to the building a long time ago? So when and why was it moved indoors? I don't remember exactly, but I saw one of the officers drag it up here recently. Drag it? I heard that it wouldn't fit in the elevator, so the poor guy had to bring it in himself. All the way up to the 12th floor? Is everything alright? Yes, sir. You want to know, I've weighed myself this morning and I'm finally at 154 pounds. Congratulations, but I was asking about this hallway in this room. Oh, everything's okay, sir. Word of advice? Stay focused or you might start to lose even more weight. Looks like you're in quite a pinch, Mr. Edgeworth. Be sure, murder within the walls of the prosecutor's office is no trifling matter. You must find it, apprehend and punish the killer accordingly, post-haste. Like a messy case you've got on your hands. If you feel lost or need some advice, my door is always open. Oh, gracious, I'll keep your offer in mind. Who is this guy again? Oh, poor Payne. He's usually the prosecutor in the first cases of all the Ace Attorney games. Let's talk to Maggie Bird. Maybe she's got some information that we could use. I was wondering if I could speak to you a bit concerning this case. Always been a big fan of the courtroom, but it's like a dream. A dream where I'm being cross-examined by the Miles Edgeworth. Can't let this chance pass me by. I must remember to ask her about the master key. She jog her memory by showing my notes to her with tea. Oh, wrong thing. Have you ever met the victim before? Well, I've seen him a couple of times before when I had to go to Mr. Portsman's office. Mr. Faith is always playing basketball with Mr. Portsman, sir. Sounds like fun! Just once I'd have loved to play with them. It sounds fun, but the only person ever taking a shot was Mr. Portsman. All Mr. Faith ever did was pass them the ball, sir. On second thought, I don't think I have fit in with all that well with them. Miss Maggie Bird, correct? I take it that you're the acquaintance of the detective. She was under my supervision back when she was on the force, sir. One day she got caught up in a murder and things started going downhill, so she quit. But I owe a lot to Detective Gumshoe for introducing my current employer. So I thought until a few hours ago. Right before I was about to clock out for the night. Got caught up in this whirlwind of a case, correct? Don't worry, my whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures. Since I was 6 months old when I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment building. I've been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gotten sick from all sorts of foods. failed at almost every test I've taken, experienced every kind of disaster. Now I even managed to name a criminal just when I've become a security guard. That's a lot to go through in one lifetime. I know, but just when I thought I had finally found my happiness, I wind up getting you and Detective Gumshoe involved in my bad luck. You don't need to worry about me, Mrs. Bird. Nor do you need to worry about yourself. I'll solve this case and prove your innocence. All I have to ask in return is your cooperation. Yes, sir, Mr. Edgeworth. You can count on me. I'll do all I can to help. Okay, so we need to present her master key. I don't think there's anything here that we gotta investigate, so let's go ahead and... So when did you discover the master key was missing? By the time I realized it, I think it was around 1 a.m., sir. Then I noticed it was back around 2:30 a.m. It was just sitting there on the ledge where the security room's reception window is. I'm sure that between the two times it was not just gone, but stolen, sir. Why is such an important key stored in such an insecure place? Oh, it's not like that, sir. We always keep the key further inside the room, away from the window. Always, you say? Except for this time, correct? I admit I was a bit careless, but I had my reasons. I left it out because I was sort of using it at the time. It was after I'd used it that I had left it sitting out on the ledge. To use the master key? Okay, well that's a change. But we'll have to discover what that's about next time. I've been going for nearly an hour, and we will find out why she used the master key next time. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope you guys are enjoying. I freaking love this game, and probably going to get addicted to it for the next couple days, so... I'll try to do more Trails in the Sky, because I do love that game too, but, like, I've played that before. I'm interested in new cases. I love murder mystery stuff. But, till next time.